Today, Jared Cannonier is an extremely tough fighter, but is he tough enough to stop a RoboCop? Also, what about the bonfire of Bonfim, as the Bonfim brothers both will fight on this Apex card? Plus Angela Hill. Plus Calvin Cater. All of this and more on today's episode of Matter of Fact MMA. What's up? What's happening? Let's go. What's up, guys? We right back at it. We right back with it because you know it's Dipset all day, and we also repping the cards until the end. We are here live. Not really live. I don't know why I said live. But we're here to go over the UFC in the Apex, the card that's coming up this Saturday night. I'm not sure what number it is. At this point, they didn't do nothing special for UFC Apex 100. So, whatever. Nevertheless, we're in the main event. Jared Cannonier will step in the octagon with Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez in the main event. So here's the thing about this fight, man, as I jump right into it. Jared Cannonier is a really, really strong fighter, really powerful striker. I felt like he showcased a little bit more of his techniques a little bit earlier in his career. At this point, he kind of keeps it cut and dry. He clearly has a game plan, and he does his best to stick to that. But one thing about Jared Cannonier is this man has a gas tank. You know what I'm saying? This dude is not a dude that... He doesn't come into the octagon with half a tank of gas, a third of a tank of gas, or anything. He comes in with a full tank, plus he got the gas can back in the trunk of the car. You know what I'm saying? He's ready. You know what I'm saying? He can go on a long trip. You know what I'm saying? This homie, he does not gas out. And so a lot of the times, even when his skill level, possibly also due to his age, I believe he's 40, you know what I'm saying? Might be 41, but we're going to say he's 40. At the end of the day, as the fights get in the later rounds, what he might be lacking on his technique later, because genuinely, when he's fresh in a fight, of course, he is most dangerous. Simply because the power that this man wields. And when he touches you, guys drop, you know what I'm saying? Or you're wobbled up against the fence. That's just what it is. But as the fight goes later, as it gets into the later rounds, he has an ability that even though you can tell he's gassed, you can tell that he's spent, he holds it together. And he takes punishment. He'll take punishment on the elbows, on the gloves. You know, he'll roll with the punches. And then he'll uncork a devastating punch that floors his opponents and kind of levels the playing field. Even if they're not that as tired as he is, when he uncorks one of these and you get hit with one of these shots, if it was a video game, your energy meter just went down a notch or two. You know what I'm saying? Which kind of levels it with the tiredness that he is experiencing. So even though he's tired, he's still got gas in the tank, and he's still powerful enough that if he lands, if it doesn't drop you, it's going to level the playing field. With that being said, I think Rodriguez wins this fight. I'm a Jared Cannonier fan. I like Gregory Rodriguez, but I'm a Cannonier fan, but I think, in the words of Dana White, I think Greg Kopp wins this fight. Because I feel like if Cannonier is going to win, it's going to be via a 5-round decision where he outlasts Greg Kopp. You know, I'm going to start calling him that just like Dana. And I feel like if one thing you can question about Gregory Rodriguez, it is his gas tank. This man comes out full force, full fury. He can knock you out. He can wobble you. He can do a club and sub. He's a tremendous grappler. Excellent at submissions. I mean, that first round and a half early in his career, he was lethal. As he started to get taken a little bit deeper into fights, you know, it looks like a lot of the time he gasses out. Now, it doesn't mean he's going to lose the fight, but he definitely isn't as dangerous as he is early on. And Cannonier, I think, possesses better timing at the end of fights when he's gassed out, better than Rodriguez. That's how he can time a good, solid, powerful shot and lay a guy out, where Rodriguez still has power. He's a powerful guy. You can look at him and tell that. But you know what I'm saying? He doesn't quite have the timing as good as Cannonier has. With all of that being said, Cannonier is 40. So many world-class fights. He's, of course, had the better strength of competition, but so many world-class fights. You know, so many 5-rounders he's had to train for. It takes a toll on you. And right now, he just can't stay consistent in the octagon. So I got to go along with Gregory Rodriguez to go out there and get the win. Let's move over to the co-main event, where we have Calvin Kattar stepping in the octagon with Youssef Zalal. Here's the thing. I don't think Calvin Kattar is shot. I don't think Calvin Kattar is done. But this isn't the same Calvin Kattar from a few years ago. He's on a losing streak right now. He's coming off of a devastating knee injury. He didn't look good in his last fight. I know it was against, former bantamweight champion Aljo. You know what I'm saying? Aljamain Sterling. I get it. Aljamain's first fight at featherweight, he had something to prove, But at the same time, so many wars, so many training for major fights, really tough opponents, far tougher than who Zalal has fought. I think it takes a toll on you coming off of that really bad knee injury. Now, on some of the programming that Mike Heck does, Mike Heck is a friend of Calvin Kattar's. He has talked about that Calvin wasn't a full 100% going into that fight with Aljamain Sterling, but still, and that was at UFC 300, no less. I mean, you got to get, if you're going to get up, you're going to get up for UFC 300. But at the same time, it is what it is. I'm going to go along with Zalal to get the win. Zalal is on the streak right now. He looks like he really believes that he can defeat anybody in the octagon. And he just seems to improve every single fight. I'm going to go along with Youssef Zalal to go out there and get the win. Next, we have Edmen Shahbazyan stepping in there with Dylan Butka. Man, I can't trust Edmen Shahbazyan. Every time you think you can trust him, every time you think you can lay a little money on him on DraftKings, holler at me. I'm out here doing the Lord's work. I'm out here letting people know about the great bets that you got. Holler at me. You can get in on the ground level. Matter of fact, MMA. Nevertheless, I got to go along with Butka in this one. Simply because, bro, man, Edmen Shahbazyan is just not a guy that you can keep rolling the dice on and keep coming up short. You know what I'm saying? Every time you think you have a feel like he's going to win this fight, he lets you down. And, Butka is not the best fighter. He's not, setting anybody's world on fire. You know what I'm saying? Nothing like that. I'm not saying he's super good at all, but he might be able to outlast Edmen. And the later the fight goes, Edmen always looks terrible, and that's when he starts making a lot of his mistakes. So I got Butka to go out there and get the win. Next, we have the first of the Bonfim brothers, as Ismail Bonfim steps in there with Nazim Sandikov. I got Bonfim. Sandikov is, a pretty good fighter, but I got Bonfim. Same night, he's performing with his brother. I think it works well for both of these guys. I think it works well for both of their training camps, for their coaching, for their staff. I think everything works out well when they fight on the same card. So I'm going along with Bonfim to get the win. Next, we have Rodolfo Vieira stepping in there with Andre Petroski. I'm going to go along with Rodolfo. The thing is Petroski is a really good grappler, a really good wrestler. That's his bread and butter. He can strike. It doesn't have a ton of technique, but he moves with force. He's got power, and he's tenacious when he strikes. But his bread and butter is grappling and wrestling. And, of course, that's definitely in Vieira's. That's him, period. World-class level. I'm staring at the stats on this. I mean, I'm just I'm gonna go along with Vieira to get the win. Now, I could definitely see this being a world where since both men are so good at grappling that it cancels each other out and ends up being a really sloppy stand-up kickboxing fight. It if that's the case, I don't know because Vieira gets tired very easily, and then it might go Petrosky's way. But I'm gonna go along with Vieira to get the win regardless. Let's see. Next we have Connor Matthews versus Jose Delgado. I'm not really sure on this one. Let me see something here. Not much on Delgado. Connor Matthews coming off of a loss. This is pretty much a pick 'em. I'm not really sure on this one. I'm gonna go along with Jose. I'm gonna go along with Jose Delgado to get the win. I don't really have any sort of anything behind that. This is just kind of like a whatever fight, and that's no disrespect to them. But I'm gonna go along with Jose to get the win. Then we have Angela Hill stepping in the octagon, back in the octagon. Angela Overkill Hill stepping in there with Ketlin Souza. This is a tough one to call, but the fan in me, I can't. I'm not gonna make a pick against Angela Hill. I got Angela Hill to go out there and get the win. I know she just turned 40 within like the last month or so, so she hasn't been 40 long. I know she's had a ton of fights, a ton of wars. Souza is definitely, she's coming off a huge win against Yasmin Uruguay. And I'm sorry if I mispronounced her last name. But, I think Ketlin definitely has the power, in her striking. If it's going to be a stand-up affair, she definitely has the power. Angela's definitely been working a lot more on her grappling, not so much wrestling, but her grappling and her scrambling. But at the same time, I don't know, Souza being stronger and more powerful might have the advantage there. But maybe the veteran, savvy, the technique of Angela Hill might be a little bit better, if it stands up. She doesn't strike with power, though, but she can get a lot of girls with volume. But I don't know, because late in your career, you see a lot of fighters, I should say, start to spam a lot of their stand-up, where it's a lot of combinations, but a lot of those strikes don't look like they ever intend on them actually landing. It just happens. It's just routine. They've been doing it forever. Angela could fall victim to that. It wouldn't shock me if Souza win, but the fan in me, I'm going to go along with Angela Hill to get the win. But it's sus. It's sus. I ain't going to lie, it's sus. But I'm going along with Angela Hill to get the win. I'm not sure what's going on with the Jared Gordon fight. He had his opponent fall out or, whatever. He said he's going to be in there with a newcomer, Rajabov. I don't know anything about him. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to go with Jared Gordon to get the win, but I don't really know about the gentleman he's taking on the octagon. But I'm going along with Jared Gordon. Okay. Next we got Jesus Aguilar stepping in the octagon with Rafael Estevam. Man, I'm going along with Jesus. I'm going along with Jesus Aguilar on this one. He's on a win streak. He's been looking good. He's the smaller of the two, shorter competitor in this one. He definitely goes to a lot more decisions, has more submissions on his resume than Estevam. Tough one to call, but I'm going to go along with Aguilar here. He looks like he's the underdog. That's going to be a good underdog pick because you never really know. Like, Jesus is scrappy, and he can also grapple. You know what I'm saying? He can also wrestle. And that's very interesting because if he starts losing on the stand-up and gets some shots to get in there and really get his opponent down to the ground, he'll definitely take it. I'm going to go along with Aguilar to get the win. Then we have Gabriel Bonfim stepping in the octagon with Chaos Williams. Shout out to Chaos Williams, but at the end of the day, man, once you can time Chaos Williams striking and you can avoid those powerful strikes, and as the fight goes on, Bonfim should be able to get him out of there. So I'm going to go along with Bonfim to get the win. Next, we have Vince Morales stepping in there against Elijah Smith. I know Elijah Smith is a newcomer, but I'm going along with him regardless. Vince Morales, he's had a ton of losses already in the octagon. I'm going along with Elijah Smith to get the win. Then we have Louisville's own Dontel Mays stepping in the octagon with Walter Walker. I'm going to go along with Dontel Mays, hometown guy right here from Louisville, Kentucky, heavyweight. Ranked number 15 now due to recent releases of the UFC. I got Dontel Mays to get the win. And then finally, we have Julia Avila stepping in there with Jacqueline Cavalcante. I'm going along with Jacqueline Cavalcante. She's got the reach advantage, height advantage, probably everything advantage, plus she's scrappy. I got Cavalcante to get the win. So, that is the UFC's offering to the Apex Gods coming up this Saturday night. Where in the main event, Jerry Cannonier will step in the octagon with Gregory RoboCop Rodriguez, and I got RoboCop to go out there and lock up. Put him in the back of the squad car. Take him down there. And look, I don't know how else to word it. I got Greg Kopp, in the words of Dana White, to go out there and get the win. So, that's the latest offering of the UFC. We will see what goes down. Please like, subscribe, comment. I appreciate you guys for checking out these videos. And once again, I do want to thank you for joining me on another episode of Matter of Fact MMA. And I'll check you next time. Peace. Dipset.